So hello. So yeah, Marlies and I, we started Fem Flower Farm about 8 years ago. And yeah, we both had our own careers. So Marlies was working in a construction agency and I worked in marketing, flowers and plants, but for another company, other companies. And yeah, we grew up here in this area. We met each other on middle school, like we were 12 years old. And yeah, Marlies, she married Hubert, who is a dahlia grower. And later on, I married Henk, who is a tulip grower. So we always kept in touch and we talked, of course, about the husbands and their farming business. And we said, maybe we can do it a little bit differently because they are only selling to export companies. So the bulbs go in a big crate on a tractor or on a truck to a company and you never hear anything back. While we have the Keukenhof here, you've been there's so many flower lovers, people enthusiastic. And nobody of all the farmers show the beauty of the product or show the fields or show the seasons or all the work that they are doing throughout the year. So we said, let's do that. We're gonna put the products together. So we have dahlias in the summer and we have the spring bulbs to plant in autumn. So we have a good combination and let's give it a start. So we started to make pictures on the fields. So my daughter was still 7 years old. She's now 17, but she was 7. So we put on a nice dress and gave her a bucket full of flowers. So she was our model. And then, yeah, we started to post on Instagram. And within a few months, we were building a whole flower community. People anywhere in the world who were so enthusiastic about the way we did the marketing or we did the photos. Because yeah, we say we do it with a female touch. So FEM stands for family business. We are just family-owned business, but also for femininity, because we like to do it on the female way. And in the flower bulb sector, there's only men working.
Tractors,
so we have,
machines.
Tractors, machines. And we always made a good laugh because my husband also has Facebook. And then he said, all he put there is, I have a new tractor. And that was what he put on Facebook. And all his colleagues said, yeah, I like it, but it's not a consumer who gets really enthusiastic. So yeah, we opened, of course, the web shop and started with small variety of dahlias and bulbs. And yeah, every year we are expanding, so more bulbs, more varieties. We have now flower seeds, gladiolas, ranunculus since last year. We have the maybe Bianchiri, maybe you know it. It's a company who's selling very exclusive Italian ranunculus and anemones. And we are representing their company in Europe, so that's really, really nice. So yeah, every time there's new products to add and there's still lots of things to come. Also, we have written a dahlia book. Maybe you've seen. I forgot to bring it, but we do have a dahlia book in Dutch and in English. And it sold 10,000 copies already, so it was not so bad. And I just told Deborah maybe we're going to do a tulip book as well soon. So that would be really nice. Yes, you want to be in the Keukenhof shop with a tulip book. Yeah.
What's the name of your book?
The Joy of Dahlias.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So yeah, this is how we're here now. So about the visits, yeah, we had I think it was the third year or so, the second year we did Fem Flower Farm, and we were followed, of course, by all garden lovers and tulip lovers and flower lovers. And we said, come over to our dahlia field and let's meet each other in real life, not only behind Instagram account, but in real life. And we set the coffee table at Marlies' house in the middle of the dahlia field, and we just pour coffee and flowers. And they went crazy. They were like, what? We didn't know something like this exists and you have to open up for the public. Okay, we said this may be a new, new model. So then the year after we started to do some tours. So the next Friday and Saturday we have 2 days with 5 groups of people, only 25 people per group, like we have here, but then like half of it maybe. People can walk around. We are creating all the props later this week and baskets of flowers, and they can take pictures, and we explain the story of Fem and the tulip process, and people really like it. But it's very limited because we do it only 2 days a year or season, because then we think it's fun and we don't want to be 3 weeks after telling a story at the same time. So 2 days, very limited edition, and if you're lucky and you be here on the right date, then you can book a ticket. Yeah, about the farm that we are here now. This is our neighbor's farm, so this is also his shed and this is his field, and we are renting it from him. We have, of course, property at our own farm, at my house. That is our family-run farm, but we are exchanging the crops. So this year there are tulips growing on the field, and next year there's maybe daffodils or there's lilies or hyacinth, and only after 5 years we can come back to the same field with tulips again, in order to keep the soil healthy and not to take out all the same nutrients over and over again. Crop rotation, yeah. So we often take soil tests, and we see what's missing, and depending on the crop that goes to the field, we are adding some fertilizer, yeah. So we have a really nice shed today. That is really nice, because normally we only have a blank field and no electricity, no toilet, nothing. So just back to basic. All the tulips that you see here now, we have planted them, of course, in the fall, like you do yourself. But the tulips are planted in October, November, sometimes beginning of December. If it's really, really wet, for example, we have to wait till it gets better, and then planting them in the fall. And then we add a layer of straw. You can see that there is straw there, just to prevent from the hard frost. Well, for many years it was not really necessary, but last year we had kind of a hard winter, so it was good. We added the straw. So the whole winter you don't see anything, and then of course in spring they start to pop out, and then within 2 weeks' time it's full bloom, and then also within 2 weeks' time it's gone. So it's always very short periods that they are full bloom. And what my husband is doing now with a whole team of people, he's checking all the fields. So they're walking up and down all the lines and see if there's like a mix-up variety or a sick bulb or a virus. Or I took out one virus as an example. Maybe you recognize it. The ones with the flames inside the purple one is this one, and we need to remove it. We need to remove it with the bulb. I didn't succeed, but then the bulb is also removed, so that later on it will not be a mixture in your. If you buy 10 bulbs, you want 10 the same and not different varieties. If you see it, for example, this has a clearly different color than the rest. But my husband, they can also see it on the leaves. There's stripes, or there's different or other color. Or it's kind of a specialized job. Not everybody can do it. Yeah. 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 Well, we do have some that are like more like this, but with some stripes on it. But it's very hard to keep the lot clean, because you cannot almost see what's a virus and what's a good one. And then in the end, your whole lot will be full of viruses, and then you can throw it away. So what they are checking all the fields, and when we say, okay, this is now good, the lot is clean, we think it's good. And then comes the inspection agency, and they come to check if we have done our jobs well. And they say, okay, this is approved, you can chop off the flower heads. So next week he will be here with a big tractor and a chopping machine. And within a few hours the whole field is gone.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, that's really sad. It's always our best viewed movie on Instagram. Everybody is crying, oh no, don't kill the flowers. Yeah.
But you're really growing for bulbs, aren't you?
Yeah, so people ask, why don't you sell the flowers? Well, we let them bloom out, so they're all gone actually already. But there are some growers who also pick flowers from outside. But when you pick the whole stem, you lose the bulb. So it's either you grow for the bulb or you. So it's a decision that you have to make. Yeah, we also grow tulip flowers in the greenhouse, my husband does. And there you can, of course, control everything. You have the temperature, you have no rain, no hail, so you can create the bunches. And they go to the flower auctions here. We have 3 flower auctions in the area. And from there they go to export agencies anywhere in the world. So they go also to the US, I think, yeah, and to mainly florist companies. So when we have mowed the fields, then for us it's time to rest and go on holidays. So we go to the US in May. End of May I go to Yellowstone. I'm gonna do a road trip. This is you, I come to visit you. Well, she has a different season. Yeah, she has a different season.
She's going on holiday.
Come to New York.
Yeah, that's for next year with the girls. When I come to New York. So, but when we come back from holidays, it's almost time to harvest the bulbs. So my husband said, don't go too long because we need to be back on time because we need to harvest the bulbs. So normally all the plants are dying. You see it in the garden also. They turn yellow and brown and then it's just waste. All the energy went from the plant to the bulb and the bulb has been growing and multiplying. So smaller bulbs have been created and medium size get big. So then we start harvesting all the bulbs and we bring them to our shed at home. And then starts the whole process and we start with cleaning. So we have a machine who cleans the bulbs, so removing the old skins, separating the smaller and the bigger bulbs from each other. And then they go to a sorting machine. It's a machine with holes in it, so it starts with small holes and they are shaken frontward and they drop down by size. So we have then small, biggest bulbs at the end. And the big bulbs that are the ones that we are selling in the web shop, but also the ones that we sell to flower farmers or go to export companies or garden centers or whatever. And the small and the medium size are going back into the fields. So if you see the white one, for example, is not flowering so it was very small bulbs planted. Some is only show some leaves, and if they get bigger, they will show a flower as well.
Do you harvest the bulbs? How do you get them out of the ground?
One by one with hands.
Seriously?
No. You want to come and help? No, we have a really big machine, a tractor, and it dives into the soil and it shakes up all the bulbs, leaves the soil behind. And they go in a big wooden crate, so, but that goes quite fast. You have a question?
Yeah, so like, when I plant tulips, is there any way to get them to bloom next year? Because usually they say, no, it won't bloom.
Yeah.
But you get them to bloom again.
Yeah, but it's also because you are removing the big ones and you're planting back the smaller ones. But if you just leave them in the ground and they have, they stay like a clump, it's not so bad, not so good. So you have to. It's better to take them out and then separate them and clean them like we do, and then plant them back. But still, it depends a lot on your soil, on where you are, on your climate, on the variety. And sometimes you're lucky; they come back for 3, 4, 5 years. And sometimes after 1 year, you think, "Where are my tulips?" And important to know that in this area, this is of course the flower bulb region, and this is because we have the sandy soil. You can see it. It's very easy with drainage. It's never too wet, and we also have the canals. Everywhere are canals around the fields, and if it's too dry, we can raise the water in the canals, and they get the water from the roots. So this makes our life very easy. And also, we have a sea climate here, so we are very nearby the sea, and it means in the winter it's never too cold, and in the summer it's never too hot. So all those things make it very attractive to grow bulbs. Of course, they grow bulbs anywhere, but there are more challenges than here in this area. And it's the same with dahlias. The dahlias from this area, what we hear, of course, they go to garden centers, but they are put in a plastic bag in a garden center in January, and they hang there for February, March, April, and it's totally shriveled. But the bulbs that are coming from this region are, stay hard and are more full. So if you want to create a new variety, maybe that's nice to tell, you better start early, because it will take you 20 years to have a commercial variety. For example, this one, this is called Charlie's, maybe you've seen it. It's the white row here, yeah. Well, this one, we bought it actually from a breeder, but it was like only a few kilos of bulbs. So you get a few kilos of bulbs, and then you have to plant it, and every year it multiplies and plant it back. No. They're not all new, sometimes we test it. It's a variety that we maybe want to grow, and we test it to see how it grows, if it's healthy, if it's virus, stuff like that. But and there are some nice ones, not yet with a name, so later we will give them a name. This one was named Charlie's, because my husband is fan of Charlize Theron. So why not Linda?
So when you have that exclusivity, can anyone else
No, not for that one. No, you can protect it. Yeah, it's registered and protected, and they all planting them. And there's a company who plants all the bulbs, and they're protecting if they get a request for I have a tulip, and they say no, it already exists, so you cannot. But it's difficult because there are so many lookalikes. So, but if you want to start at the beginning, so you are cross-polling 2 tulips because you want to create new variety. And you have like a flower and a father and a mother plant, and you're crossing them. They get all kind of different children. So you are planting the seeds. So you have seeds.
Like people.
You put like people. You put all the seeds, and then the first year they only grow like a small grass. And then the second year you have a bigger grass, and then the third year you have a leaf, and the fourth year you have a big leaf, and the 5th year maybe a flower, but the 6th year you will have flowers. So you can see how your children look. And then you have to throw them away because they say, this one we already have, it's ugly, and you keep the one that you have and say, this is going to be the future, I'll keep this one. But then you still have 1 flower and 1 bulb. So then you start the whole multiplying process, and it will take you another 10 to 15 years to have a row that you can sell and keep growing.
What about height? So do you go for some short?
Yeah, well, in the old days, our grandfather, they just cross and see what happens. But now, of course, they can do in laboratory. They have the DNA. They say, I want to have this color and the staying lamps, and yeah. So it's getting more and more technical now. So they will also make more progress in creating new good varieties, because a variety, you can create it, but then it can be diseased easy, or it doesn't grow well, or it doesn't multiply, or the stems are too short. They're all thrown away. So people planting, and then throw it away. And my husband also did some varieties for 15 years. He planted, and then in the end, it's not going to happen. So just throw it away. So that's a hard job to find a really good one. Yeah. And now the really, really good ones are protected by royalties. So if you want to grow them, you have to pay the one who originally found it. It's a smart, and then you are smart because then you have good profit for many, many years.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Slow Flowers Show. I'm Deborah Prinzing, and I'm really excited today to introduce Linda Vanderslot. Linda's in the white top, and her partner, Marlies Veyers. Marlies is in the pattern top. Just, you'll get to know them. They are the partners in Fam Flower Farm in Lisse, the Netherlands, in Holland, where I'm going. And I'm going to come visit you. Thank you for joining me.
Looking forward to meeting you.
I am very much looking forward to visiting your farm, and I'm going to share some photos from their website in a few minutes, and people will be so jealous. So I wanted to do this conversation now because when I'm there in person, I'm going to be too distracted by all the beautiful fields of mostly tulips. But the two of you have something really unique, I think, based on my past visits to Holland have been more industry focused, like visiting big greenhouses where people are doing, bulk orders and brokers and distributors are talking. It's really not geared toward the public. And your customer base are people like me, avid gardeners. And so I'd love to have you give us a snapshot of Fam Flower Farm. What is Fam Flower Farm and where are you located?
Okay, well, FAM stands for family, of course. So we are just family-run flower and bulb business. But FAM also stands for femininity. So we do it with the female touch.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's also the reason why we started, as you explained earlier, that the business is very industrial. It goes about tractors, big bulbs going in a crate and going to an export company, and you never hear anything back.
Right.
And we said, let's do that differently, because we're more or less around the corner of Keukenhof, and we see all those hundreds of thousands of people who are just crazy of the flowers. And we thought maybe we can share the story of our farm and tell about the seasons, explain about the work we are doing. But also showing the romantic side and the beauty, of course, of all the flowers and the nice bouquets and the girls in the fields.
I love it. And Keukenhof is, I don't know, I guess I call it like tulip Disneyland. I don't know. How do you describe it? It's sort of
Yeah, I think
they're
that's a good name.
it's they're displays of swaths of beautiful bulb flowers,
Yeah,
and
it's really worth visiting, definitely.
but it's not it's more for the gardener and not for somebody who's interested in cut flower growing, which is sort of a different niche, I think.
Well,
Like,
I think I was there yesterday, and there's a lots of flowers. They also have like a greenhouse where they have like 200 or 300 different varieties of tulips growing,
oh,
and there are
okay.
lots of them are for cut flower business as well. And you can also see the name. There's a name tag, and you can also see the grower, so you can also find out where you can get it.
But I think coming to Fam Flower Farm is a different experience, maybe
Oh
because
yes.
people get to meet you too and feel like they're getting a little peek behind the scenes of how tulips and dahlias are produced. And they can shop. Of course, the Americans and Canadians cannot shop, but that's okay. We have European audience too, so we're going to share your website with them. Uh, Maybe Marlise, you can talk a little bit about your background and how you and Linda uh, decided to start the business as two flower farming families.
Yeah, yeah. I was raised. My father was not a grower, so my grandfather, who was a tulip grower. And later, when I was 18 years old, I met Hubert, and he is a dahlia grower. So this is where it started.
You couldn't get away from it.
No. But and we are friends since middle school, and so when we were 12 years old, we were together in the same class. And years after the school, we always went to a restaurant and have dinner with some friends from middle school. And we talked about it because Linda, she married Henk, and he's a tulip and daffodil grower. So both men are in the business, and we talked about it. And then, yeah, we said maybe we can start doing something else, and we do it in another way we
Yeah.
like. And so I had another job. I worked as a building constructor agency. So yeah, I helped at the farm when it was necessary, but not daily, and more administration. And only in
Okay.
case there was a lot to do. I helped. And when we were younger and with no kids, then we went to the flower auction, and I made the bunches as well. But later I had my own business, and yeah, the kids at home and etc. So.
Right.
I think about 8 years ago, we started the FEM business together. Just starting small, yeah, showing to the people.
Yeah.
Now it's in the end, I must stop my job.
I was going to ask you that. Did you have to escape from the corporate world to do this
Yes,
full time?
yeah, yeah. And it was a good decision, but I had the best job of the world. Before we started this, nobody would expect from me that I was leaving my job. It was great projects we did, and it was really my life. But this is even a better life.
Oh, that's wonderful. And it was interesting to read your biographies on the Fam Flower Farm website, in that um, Linda's family is more tulip bulb production based, and Marlise, your family is more dahlia tuber based. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
So those are those the two main crops that you show people how to plant and grow, and then they get to come take photos in the fields? Or do you have other crops that you emphasize?
Yes, well, we started, of course, with the range of the husband, but last years we have expanded a lot. So we also added more tulip varieties, more daffodils, but also like gladiolas. We have exclusive line of ranunculus from Italy
Oh, wow.
since 2 years now, or since 1.5 year. And we have like 120 different flower seeds and vegetable seeds. So we are expanding every year with new products.
That's amazing. And so your customer, who is your customer? Who do you, I mean, maybe you have multiple customers. You have the tourists, but then also the people who are ordering for their own
Yeah.
gardens, right?
Yeah, well, the main business is, of course, the gardeners who are just ordering for their own backyard. We also have some business like picking gardens or like small flower farms, what you have in US, but
Yeah.
in Netherlands or in Europe, it's not so big as in US. There's only a
Right.
few of them.
Right.
So it's mainly direct end users who buy for their own gardens.
Wow. The tourists, though, at certain times of the year probably dominate your your hours of the day. Is that starting right about now? We're talking on April 9th. So when do you open the gates to tours?
Yeah, we always say we have learned from that because we used to announce the dates a long time before. But then we ended up there were no flowers, or the flowers were already cut off, or there was always a disaster.
Right.
So we said in the beginning of April we announced the visit date. It's only 2 days in a season. So it's only for the lucky ones who are there on those 2 days to visit us.
And you announced that recently on Facebook, April 24th and 25th. Is that correct?
Yes, and it was sold out the same weekend. So we added another day, another time slot, but it was also sold out. So we can do it for 3 weeks, but we don't want to.
Right. So how do you operate that? Maybe Marlies, who leads the tours? Do you both lead the tours,
Yeah,
or?
we do it together. Yeah,
So-
it's really fun to meet all the people from all over the world.
Yeah.
People from everywhere come to visit, and it's so fun to meet all these people.
How do you manage the crowd though? Do you keep them in smaller groups, or?
Yes, we have smaller groups.
Yeah.
20, 25 persons is the max, so we have time to talk with all people who enter. So we learned a lot about this as well, because in the beginning we started talking and explaining about the process and the tulips in the beginning. But when people enter the fields, it's, whoa, this is so beautiful, and nobody listens. So we learned about it. So
Yeah.
now we start the day before. We make a lot of nice props, and so people can make nice photos in the fields.
Yeah.
And we make the table and with coffee and tea and Dutch waffles.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, so people can enter the field and they can walk through the fields. And after they made thousands of photos, we tell them about the tulip process, and we can make the photos. And it's always fun and they can ask every questions they have. And it's interesting to tell the people about the process, because a lot of people don't have any idea about how much work it is to grow a new variety, to grow the tulips. And it's good to tell them.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I think after touring a flower farm and meeting the two of you, people have a more appreciation for the value of a tulip or a daffodil. Or I guess, do you do the same thing in the summer with tours of the dahlia fields, or how does that work?
Yeah, we do the same in September, also 2 or 3 days in the weekend. But then it's less tourist. It's more like people from the Netherlands and Germany, Belgium, who live around, who come for a day or two to the coast.
Right. I see. So it's not quite as frenzied as tulip season.
No, it's totally different. But I think when we have the tulip fields, people come from India, New Zealand, USA, every country in the world.
Oh my goodness. Well, I want to share the website so that people can see a little bit about your website, and maybe you can walk us through it. This is the FAM website for the EU. For our American and Canadian followers or listeners, you would go to famflowerfarm.com. But because you don't ship into the North America, this is, I think, shows people a little bit more selection of what you're selling. Is that correct?
Yeah. You can see all the range of flowers that we are selling.
You guys look so adorable in the fields there. and you're probably exhausted from working really hard, but it doesn't show.
This is the romantic side.
Exactly. So I'm just going to scroll through here. So you have, more than 180,000 followers on Instagram. I love it. So this is what you were referring to about adding new varieties and trying to expand what people can order from you. You have all these relationships with other bulb and tuber producers in the Netherlands. So you probably have access to some of these, like here's the selection of what you've got.
Yes.
Like the most fabulous colors of the ranunculus and the gladiolas. I love it.
Yeah, we often get a lot of questions also through Instagram, also from US people who are ask, "Oh, what is the name of the variety? Where can I get it? Can you give me a name?"
What
And
do you say then?
well, sometimes we work with export companies, and they
Okay.
can contact them, or through an importer in the US, they can contact an exporter in Netherlands. So sometimes it is possible to get your hands on it.
I see. Yeah, because and I also I hope people notice on the as I'm scrolling through, there's a lot of education on your website. You have created these planting guides,
Yeah.
and you have this amazing blog that I loved some of the topics, things I hadn't thought about, like how to dry a bouquet. I mean, that was a really great idea. So people, these are all free resources then that people
Yeah.
can. How to keep your dahlias from toppling over. We know about that. Oh my goodness. So you are really becoming like farming coaches for people, flower farming coaches.
Yes, and we wanted it to be a success because we have a new slogan and it says "Grow your own happiness," and
Oh,
it's so close by. It's in your backyard. It's easy. Just put something in the ground, enjoy being outside, see it grow, and take care of it. And then enjoying flowers. Give away a bouquet of flowers. That's what we want to happen.
oh, I love it. Do you feel like your popularity and success is in large part due to social media and your interactions, showing people what you're all about? Uh, it seems like with 180,000 followers, that's impressive, Linda and Marlies. I'm really blown away by that.
Yeah, I think yeah, showing like it's a real story. We don't make it up. It's just a real life. It's our
Yeah.
own fields. It's our family business. So I hope people see that and they just have trust in us that it will have quality products and we give a good advice, and we hope to bring over that story.
It comes across beautifully. Yeah. Who does all the photography then?
We do
Together,
together, yeah.
just with our mobile.
It's a mobile phone.
Oh my gosh, part of the job description. Oh, it's so true. I love it. Um, well, I wanted to ask you both if you'd be willing to talk a little bit about this idea that I experienced with slow flowers is, what do consumers know about where their flowers come from? And in the Netherlands, it's such a, it's the flower basket of Europe and the world. So you're competing with so many other philosophies of growing and selling. And are you able to kind of break through and get that slow, local, seasonal message across to people? What are you seeing from customers' interest or what their sentiments are about non-imported flowers? And is that something that comes across when people visit you?
Yeah, what we see is that there is also since like COVID, people
Mhm.
are more aware of the products and love to be more outside and growing things themselves. And there's also some negativity about Dutch flowers or imported flowers, or probably the story.
So
So
people saying, "Oh, why should I purchase imported flowers because I can grow them
yeah,
myself?" That sort of thing?
yeah, they have been on a plane, or there is plastic around, or they've grown with pesticides, or all those
Yeah.
things. And I think it's a growing community who thinks that. So that's also good for us because people also can grow then their own flowers and keep it organic and keep it small, and yeah,
So yeah, you're showing them it's possible,
yeah.
and back to your slogan,
Grow your own happiness.
grow your own happiness. Well, that's perfect. You can grow beauty too. So yeah, I think maybe the numbers don't lie. I mean, your gate, the number of people coming through your gate and who are contacting you and buying from you, that alone is a way to document the
Yeah.
increased interest.
Yeah, and I think it started more with like gardening for yourself, but we see upcoming like picking flowers. Or I have my own picking garden. I want to do it with my neighbor. I want to give away bouquets. Those smaller things we see more and more often. Yeah.
I love it. I also think that this idea of agritourism, do you know that term, agritourism? You're really showing how successful a small farm can be when you do create events or displays. I mean, how many acres do you guys have at Fam Flower Farm?
Ooh.
I think for the tulips and daffodils, we have, I think it's double, like we have hectare and you have acres. So I
Oh,
think it's
okay. You tell
double.
me the hectares and I'll do the math.
Yeah, I think it was 30 hectare, so 60 acres
Okay.
tulips and
Yeah, maybe 20 hectare dahlias or something, millions of dahlias.
yeah.
Wow. And so the growing area, are you expanding and adding more beds and more zones, or are you pretty much at capacity?
No, but it's very local, the dahlia production, because of the sandy soil we have in this area. And they tried it in a lot of other areas, but never the good to keep them for months healthy.
Yeah.
They're only from this area near the sea, and this it's a very small area in the Netherlands where they grow the best dahlia tubers.
Oh
And
my
they
goodness.
also in other places in the Netherlands and other countries, but they only want to buy it from this part of the Netherlands.
Because of that soil,
About the quality, the soil and the sea climate is the best for the tubers.
because they like that good drainage and
Yeah,
cooler evening temperatures. Is
yeah.
that
And the length of the season, so the start in May until, so in other areas it's too hot in the summer, or the
right?
season it's too cold in the autumn. So there it's always different, and in the end, the tubers in spring are not good enough anymore.
So interesting. So really, where you're located gave you that opportunity
For sure,
to have
absolutely.
two primary
Yeah,
crops,
Yeah.
whereas
nobody.
tulips can be grown throughout Holland and throughout the Netherlands because of the greenhouse industry, probably.
Yeah, well, the bulbs is also certain areas, so the north and the south of Holland, and you have some other places in the Netherlands, but mainly around the coast. But the
Back to where you are.
greenhouses are everywhere.
Right. Well, I love that because it kind of tells the story about place and that you're growing what does well where you're located. And I didn't realize that. That's really helpful and it makes me think about where I live in Seattle because we're coastal. We're very similar climate in terms of the rainfall, the
Yeah.
temperatures, the cool summers, and of course, tulips and dahlias do very well in Washington State, where I live, and there are a lot of Dutch families that moved here, generations ago to start growing. So you need to come visit.
You go for agritourism.
Yes, exactly. I'll be your driver. Well, anything else you want to mention before we wrap up? I know you've had a long day, and I'm so grateful for your time, and I can't wait to meet you in person.
No, looking forward to meeting you. And
We keep the flowers in color for you.
Yes, exactly. I think we're coming on I want to say April 21st, I think. So not with the throngs who are coming that weekend. We're getting a special small group tour, it sounds like.
perfect.
Thank you. I love it. I will give you both big hugs when I see you, and thank you for sharing your story. I think it'll inspire people who are already doing farm tours and people who maybe are on the fence and haven't quite made the leap. Your story is so inspirational, and